into that today. We were joined today by Curtis Phillips Jr., our other handicapper here on the show. Curtis, thank you so much for joining into the show today, my man, and excited to chat with you. We're going to quickly start first with our recap of last night's punches. Curtis and I both did give a handful of punches out, and I want to see what we can let's go over those records. Curtis, I finished 3-2 on the night. We hit yesterday on the Heat spread. We hit on the Blue Jays money line. We hit on the Louisville City money line last night on the cup set over Austin FC, but we missed the Suns -4.5 plus money spread. We thought they were going to win comfortably, and we missed the Noah Schultz 5+ Ks in his rookie debut as a starter on the mound for the White Sox. He had 4 strikeouts, gave up a few runs in that first inning, and kind of had to work through that. But once he worked through that, I thought we were going to get there, but just couldn't get that 5th K, unfortunately, before he was pulled. So we finished the evening 3-2. Curtis, how did the official punches do for you yesterday?
Yeah, we ended up having a fine night for the official punches, going 3-1. Orioles money line, missed on that, but we did get Angels Yankees total home runs over 2.5. This actually cashed in the first inning. Angels hitting back-to-back home runs, so that was clutch for that. Rockies +1.5. They end up coming through, losing by exactly 1. And then the Heat +6, which me and you both were on, Roman. Great game, and we do find a way to cover that. So,
really, really exciting game, and let's just get right into that, Curtis, because we had the Heat spread, and for a moment in time, the Heat looked like they were going to win this game. It was back and forth in the first half, and then the second half, they were great third quarter from the Hornets, and then an amazing fourth quarter from the Heat. But right at the end, the Hornets did just enough to come back and keep it close. You see a crazy turnaround three-pointer on the left wing from Kobe White to tie that game up. You see Lonzo Ball handling business there at the end of the game. I thought Davion Mitchell completed the game winner with that left-hand drive. He was on the money all evening long with 28 points. And this game didn't disappoint. Curtis, interestingly enough, I liked the under in this game at 228.5. And the under was broken with the basket that forced the overtime, which I'm never going to be mad at that, right? I'm going to always enjoy exciting basketball. If it means missing a bet, it means missing a bet. But it was kind of interesting to see that if the 3 doesn't go in, if the game doesn't get tied, we hit the under there, the Heat cover for us, and we would have felt good about that. It wasn't an official punch, just one that we liked and one that we were on, but we don't hit the under in that one. And the over in the Suns Trailblazers, we called that. It wasn't an official, but we liked the over there. 216.5, just too low in teams that are going to be in a close game. I mean, what was more impressive last night? The fact that the Hornets were able to win this game with LaMelo shooting 2 for 16 from the three-point line and Con Knippel going 0 for 6. They're 2 best scorers on this team, the 2 leading three-point makers in the NBA this season combined and just an egregious shooting night, and they still score 127 points and get a victory. Curtis, I haven't been giving a lot of credit to this Hornets side much this season just because it took them almost half the season to get right. And offensively, they got right. Best offensive rating in the NBA, but defensively, they were still an up-and-down team in this second half of the year. A lot of threes, a lot of offense, a lot of fun. It's been a feel-good story. I've enjoyed watching the Hornets play, but I haven't really considered them much as a threat to make some noise. They win this 10th place game. You know they're going to have to win again between the winners against the losers of tonight's matchup. If they go and make the playoffs, should we be giving this Hornets team more credit as a team that when you look at the second half of the year, they're in the top half of the NBA?
Yeah. I do think the Hornets deserve a lot of credit. And if they was to get into that 8 seed, I think they could give the Pistons some problems. 2 teams, both that are very young, but as a 1 seed, I feel like a lot of teams in the East would not take the Pistons as seriously just because they haven't been there before. But I could see the Hornets taking the Pistons to like a 6 or 7 game series for sure. Now they are. What's that?
I think I can see that. I can envision that better than a 76ers team right now and better than a Magic team right now.
Yeah,
For some reason, something about the Hornets offense, LaMelo goes 2 for 16 from 3 and still has 30 points. Was still the best playmaker on the floor. Knippel doesn't play in the end of this game, and they still were able to get what they needed offensively from Miles Bridges, Kobe White, and Brandon Miller. And it's like kind of funny. You look at the rookie aspect of Knippel, and I saw a good point being made today. When you look at what the Duke run was for him, going all the way to the Final Four, getting drafted, becoming a starter on that team, and playing every game and immediately playing into the playoffs, like the kid's played a lot of basketball in the last 400 days, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's exhausted. He's still a young kid who's adjusting to what he's doing to his body right now. And you can kind of expect for him to have had a fall off when you're playing literally, you're shooting at the highest level in the NBA. You don't expect him to do that from start to finish. I think with that being said, they proved last night that they are a team that can be dangerous when they want to be. It's just a matter of the turnovers and the defensive lapses on boneheaded mistakes and communication getting fixed. I could see the Magic or the Hornets, if they do make an 8 seed, giving the Pistons some noise. With that being said, I don't know if they're going to get past the loser of this game tonight. And let's get into that first, Curtis. Magic 76ers at 7:30 p.m. on Prime Video. Quick shout out to Prime Video. All season long, they've just been great with their NBA coverage and how they've displayed their broadcast. They did have a moment, though. There was like the screen went black, the game went.
Yeah.
I was thinking, of course, this is my Wi-Fi. I occasionally have issues like that. And I'm thinking, Wi-Fi must be messing up. My phone's not connecting to Prime correctly right now. And I get on X and LeBron's tweeted about it. A couple of other people have tweeted about it. So I thought that was pretty funny. But I still think they do a great job with their NBA coverage. Who do you like tonight, Curtis? Not necessarily for the sake of betting, but for what we've seen from the Magic and from the 76ers this season. They've got this at nearly a pick-em even type of a line, still in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers at 1.5 points. I like Philadelphia here in this one. I know that you're not going to be at full health tonight when you look at this 76ers lineup. There's going to be no Embiid dealing with the most recent injury that he's had. They're used to playing without Embiid. You've got a high level of play from Paul George here at the end of the season. Andre Drummond can still rebound the absolute hell out of the basketball. If you get a high-level performance from VJ Edgecombe tonight, because you know what you're getting from Maxey, I like the backcourt battle here, and I like the size for the 76ers to prevail just enough to keep Paulo and Franz at bay. Give me the 76ers in this one, Curtis. I know the Magic have beaten the 76ers, but I still feel like in Philadelphia with that home crowd, it's going to feel like a true playoff game tonight, and I don't think the Magic's offense is set up to go out there and score more points than the 76ers, even without Embiid right now. That's just kind of where I stand on this one on a basic level. I wanted to see where you stood, just the overall vibe centered around this first play-in game tonight in the East, Philly.
Yeah, I'm going to lean the other side. I'm gonna go the Magic. Two teams I'm not very fond of, but I do think with Franz being back, I think this really helps this Magic team. And when he's in, they like to push the pace. I feel like that can free Paulo up so he doesn't have so much weight on his shoulders. And I think they have the edge in the front court. So I think they can do just enough to speed this game up and get past the Sixers, even on the road. So I'll lean the other side.
Yeah, they did. When they played in the group cup play, I believe Franz was still available. Yeah, it's one of those matchups where when you look at their past games this season, either Paulo was out, VJ Edgecombe and Embiid were out. You know, it's like you don't get an accurate judge when you look at the regular season matchups against teams that are going to be potentially matched up in the playoffs, unless it was at full health when they played, right? And they're still playing that same similar brand of basketball. A lot of things, one thing that people don't realize about the NBA is that like a reason that people don't like the NBA because of its 82-game regular season and it being such a long, drawn-out thing where you don't really get a lot of excitement consistently. That's true, but in the return effect, you get a lot of changes in the NBA in a regular season. Teams are not playing the same brand of basketball right now that they were in January and nowhere near what they were in November. So it's tough to gauge when you look at past matchups, though. I still think that you have a great point being made there with Franz coming back. That opens up their transition game and it stretches the floor. The biggest issue that Orlando, his team, has had is if Bane's not on the floor, you guard them like you don't respect them. You don't respect their shooters. What you're going to get from an Anthony Black kind of a player is not consistent outside with the shooting. Jalen Suggs not consistently a high level shooter. So Franz is huge for them. But Philly, I think the Sixers got enough size. I really do. I think when you have Oubre back for you, which is huge. The Bona kid down low, 6'10", 23-year-old. He's been putting work in. He's been putting work in the minutes that he's been getting at times this season. I think if you get a high-level performance out of Paul George, I do like the offensive advantage for the 76ers. Now, with that being said, look at what I've made that point on. Paul George, right? Playoff P.
Playoff P.
Podcast P. There is no telling what you're going to get. You're either going to get a 30-point performance on some of the best efficiency and shot selection you've ever seen, or you're going to get some guy who shoots 2 for 14 and seems like he can't hit a field goal for a quarter at a time. I'm going to lean Philly. We're not going to have an official punch on the outcome of this game. I do have a player prop, Curtis, that I want to get into for later on. But before we do that, let's look into the second game because I'm interested to see where you stand on this one. I've had a lot of differing opinions here on this one. I lean Warriors with Stephen Curry being back. When you look at the supporting cast for the Clippers, it's hard to feel like the Warriors have a real shot, even with Steph playing. I lean Steph on the plus 5.5 points. I don't think that they're going to blow them out. I picked the Warriors to win in the Mike Rutherford show. Talk us through this one, Curtis.
Yeah, I like the Clippers here. I do think the Warriors can possibly keep it close just with Steph Curry being out there. He can always make a game competitive single-handedly. But I think the Clippers are just going to be too much. Very good defensively, and they've had a great turnaround to their season. And when you picked up guys like Darius Garland and Benedict Mathurin, I believe that really boosted your team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Garland, a guy that can score and get your guys facilitated into the game. And then Mathurin can give you 15 to 20 off the bench as well. And then obviously you have the Claw that can do pretty much everything for your squad. But I'm loving the way this team has been defending, especially this second half of the year. And I just think Warriors, they've been dealing with a lot of injuries all season, and I just don't think they are deep enough to win this game. So I do think Clippers win. Warriors could get some type of backdoor cover here, but I think I got Clippers winning this.
Let's go official punches for tonight, Curtis. We'll start in these two play-in games. 7:30 matchup between the Magic and 76ers. Did you have any official punches you were going to drop in this matchup?
Yeah, I have two actually in this game. None for the late game as of right now. The first one I'll drop will be Paolo Banchero over 13.5 rebounds and assists. Got this at minus 115, but he's got this in the last handful of games. Probably will sprinkle on a double-double as well at plus 130, something he's been getting in the month of April as well. But I think the rebounds and the facilitating will be there. And then I'll also take your guy, Roman, VJ Edgecombe over 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And without Embiid on the floor this season, Edgecombe has kind of been that guy. And you've seen him kind of tail off when Embiid is there. He's not getting as many touches. But when Embiid's off the floor, he plays a little bit more free. So in the last 10 games without Joel Embiid, he's averaging right around 21 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 6.1 assists. So he's going way over this. He's got this 8 of the last 10 games without Embiid. And I know he's a rookie. That kind of does concern me as well. You saw a guy like Nipple last night, not ready for the moment. But I think Edgecombe, that this 76er team is going to need them if they want to win. So I think he can get to the 27 points, rebounds, and assists mark. So those would be my two official punches in the NBA.
All right, I've got two as well in the NBA for tonight. The first one is in this first game, and it's Andre Drummond, Curtis. When Andre Drummond plays starter minutes, when he plays 24-plus minutes in the last month, he's not covered 10-plus rebounds once. in his last 3 games, obviously playing those kinds of starter level minutes, either starting or not being in a starting lineup, he's still getting that 25 plus 30 minutes kind of outings. He's gone 12 rebounds, 16 rebounds, 15 rebounds. They got him for 10 plus tonight at minus 108. And that's going to be our first punch of the night. I think Andre Drummond's going to play heavy minutes in this one. They're going to try to establish that interior presence, dealing with a team that does like to get a lot of twos. They like to attack the paint with the slashers and Franz and Banchero. And you've also got Wendell Carter down low. I get he can stretch the floor and whatnot, but he's going to try to command those rebounds himself. If the 76ers want a chance tonight, they can't get killed on the glass. And that's going to start with Andre Drummond in my eyes, averaging 8.5 rebounds on the season. Obviously, that's because of how many games where he's covering 12, 14, 15. But then in the games where Embiid's healthier, he's coming off the bench. He's sometimes playing 6 minutes, getting 6 boards, getting 4 boards. So you're not going to – he should be averaging 10 when you look at the way the per 30 Knicks 6 numbers kind of stack up. But give me Andre Drummond, first game, 10-plus rebounds at minus 108 for our first player prop of the night and our first official punch of the night. Curtis, that's all I've got in this game.
Yeah.
I love the Edgecombe play though. I love the Edgecombe points. I think you could really buff some of those Edgecombe point plays up if you want. There's a couple of plus money spots. I mean, I would definitely play the 20 plus on Edgecombe just for the sake of it being a plus 220 play. When you see that he's averaged over this number without Embiid on the floor, he's gonna get at least 8 shots up, I believe, tonight. You know, he can maybe create a couple. He falls into 4 points with the way that he's able to just create deflections and get out in transition. So I think the 16, 17, 18 mark is a safe one for Edgecombe tonight. I love the 20 plus on a plus money jab if you guys are interested in that one for the first matchup. Curtis, looking into the second matchup we've got at 10 o'clock tonight. You're leaning Clippers. I'm leaning Warriors. I don't have a play that I love in the overall outcome of the game outside of the over-under. I don't necessarily love it, I should say, but I think this one goes over 220.5. I think that the Clippers have been defending well. I think this is, if there's a blowout spot here, I think the Clippers are well over the 120 mark. If that does happen, if it doesn't happen, I see both teams kind of sitting in that 107, 110, ending the game literally at this 220 mark. So I'm going to go over on this one. We're going to live bet this one though, Curtis, with the intention of playing it at like over 218.5. to get that 220 at plus money once the game does go live. I think that after a couple misses, it'll drop because of, like you mentioned, the books and the expectation of what this Clippers defense will do tonight. I like the over 220 there. That's going to be my first official punch in this game. Second official, okay, we'll let you drop another one here in this one game. You said you had one in the game tonight, Curtis, right?
No, none in this one. I just had 2 in the early game.
All right, so we'll go over for us on the first play here in this one, Curtis. And then the second one, I mean, I'm rocking with Steph on the 26.5 plus points. That's an alternate line from where he's at right now. You can catch the 26.5 at, let's get the correct odds on. That's the plus 100 line. So 25 plus, you can catch him there at minus 122 if you want to play it safe, minus 140 on the 25 plus if you don't want to play the 0.5 hook on the over 25.5. I'm rocking with Steph Curry, Curtis, 26.5 points at plus 100 as an official punch. Normally that would be a jab spot for us here, but I think Curry is not. He's going to go down with a fight here in this one, and he's going to get the shots up. Yes, they've been defending well, but Darius Garland ain't ready for this. He ain't had to guard this enough in his career, being out there in the Eastern Conference, not having to deal with all these shooting we've got out here in the West. I think Curry lights him up in what is probably a loss. That's going to be my 2 official punches in that game. And that's going to wrap up the NBA play or the NBA punches for us tonight, Curtis. What else you got for us in the NBA in the MLB or NHL ranks for us as we come out to the outro of the show?
Yeah, I got a few MLB punches. Rocking with some first inning bets. First, we'll drop the Nerfy for the Chicago Cubs and Philadelphia Phillies. So
we hit that Reds Nerfy yesterday.
Yeah, you did, and you called that under. Great calls on.
Appreciate that one, Curtis.
Yes, sir. So we're gonna rock with the no runs in the first inning of this Cubs and Phillies game. I know weather is gonna be great. I know Shota Imanaga, Jesus Luzardo, neither one of these pitchers have performed how they usually would in the past, but both of these lineups have been dreadful versus lefties to start the season. Phillies batting 176 versus lefties. Cubs batting 224. Those are terrible numbers. So I do think, even with good weather, I think this game starts off pretty slow here. So we're going to bank on no runs in the first inning for that. And then in the Nationals and Pirates, we're going to take the opposite. We're going to take the Yerfy, yes runs in the first inning at -113. Jake Irvin for the Nationals. I try to fade him in kind of any which way I can when I look at. So he's hit the Yerfy in all 3 games that he's pitched this season. Pirates starter, I believe he's a bullpen guy. So, but I believe both of these teams, either one of these teams can put up at least 1 run in the first inning. Nationals and Pirates, 2 teams that have both lineups have been performing pretty well on the season. So I like a run to be scored in the first inning. And then I'll throw a quick jab. Got to have a no home run bet on the slate here. Rays and White Sox, no home run at +550. Weather's not going to be terrible, sitting around 70 degrees, but it will be raining, and wind will be pushing sideways in this one. And these are two lineups that don't have really a lot of sluggers, to say the least. So I think we can get no home runs on the board for that game at +550. That would be my jab.
I like that jab there. I like that jab. I've got one MLB punch for tonight. We're going on the alternate under total runs at 9.5 for the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers at 641. Curtis, we've got Seth Lugo going up against Jack Flaherty on the mound. For the Tigers, I like both of these pitchers. I like both of these pitchers to keep the runs at bay for the first handful of innings that they're out there, and that makes me think that this one's not going to reach that 10-run mark. We're going to go under 9.5 on the total runs in that one. And we've got a jab in the MLB as well, Curtis. We're taking the Seth Lugo jab on the 5+ Ks. Here's what he's gone so far this season. He went 4 Ks, 7 Ks, 4 Ks. And I think he's going to get back to that over 4 spot here tonight, but that's just going to be a jab going up against the Tigers on the road. I know he's not the best pitcher on the road compared to what he does on the home mound. I still like him to get to that mark here and continue on for a pretty good start to his season. That's going to be my only MLB punch, and then that's our only MLB jab as well. You got anything in NHL, Curtis, before we wrap up the show?
No, I've kind of skimmered across the slate, but I do not have any official punches for the NHL, no.
I've got one. We're going Tampa Bay Lightning money line straight up over the New York Rangers in Tampa Bay. Over under at 6.5 in this one. And if there's a good amount of goals being scored, which is the projection, I think the Lightning are going to get the job done. Feels like that offense has just been putting up goals more consistently lately than the Rangers have. So we'll take the Lightning on the home ice there. In the NHL. That's going to wrap us up here on our official punches and bring us now to the outro of the show. We appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and listening here today. We're not going to be live on YouTube and X after the show. So just going to wrap things up here on the radio side. Shout out to the podcast listeners as well. And Curtis, without further ado, my man, let's go punch those tickets.
Let's punch those tickets.
All right, Curtis, great show, great punches. Excited to get those out there with you. We'll try to get those tweeted out there as well for anybody who joined up a little bit late. But let's go make some money, man.
Yes, sir. Let's go punch them.
Sorry, I got you queued there. Couldn't hear you, Curtis. Sorry.
No, you good. I said let's go punch them.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. I'll see you.
Catch you soon, Curtis.
Sir.